Hey guys, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to walk you through a little experiment called reaction in a bag. Sometimes it's called sunset in a bag. That's okay. Really doesn't matter what we call it as long as we see it. Okay. As you can see over my shoulder, I have the different indicators of physical changes and chemical changes. And we're going to kind of refer back to this as we go to see if we're, experiencing physical changes in this experiment or chemical changes. And luckily for us, there's a lot of different things that we can notice. Okay, so what I'm going to start with, I'll start with a little bag. All right, little bag right here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do using my graduated cylinder, I'm going to measure out 50 milliliters of just water, just normal water. 50 milliliters, and remember milliliters is volume. So we want a volume of 50 milliliters of water in here. Okay, I'm gonna actually move this down here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm pouring in 50 milliliters of water. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour in some phenol red. And you remember phenol red, it's an indicator, meaning if it's in the presence of an acid, it will turn yellow. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead, it's red obviously right now. I'm gonna put it in the water, and I want to make a prediction of what's going to happen when I put this in the water. When I put a few drops in here, what are we expecting to happen? Put some in there. Okay, let's go ahead, get it mixed up here. So I'm noticing that it's turning red or turning pink, whatever you want to call it. Is that something we expect to happen, right? When you put something that's red into water, do we expect it to turn red? Yes. So you decide, what kind of change is that? Is that a physical change or is that a chemical change if we expect it to happen? Well, I would say it's a physical change because we expected this to turn red. All right. If it would have turned like green, or blue, that'd be a little wild. All right. That'd be unexpected. We would call that a chemical change. But this, we expect it to turn red. That would be a physical change. Okay. Next step, I still have in my bag just the phenol red solution with water. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a couple scoops of what's called calcium chloride. And this stuff is actually, when it snows and there's a lot of ice on the ground in the winter, this is what they put on the streets to melt the ice. Okay, so maybe kind of predict what's going to happen here. Keep in mind, this water is room temperature, and then this calcium chloride's just been sitting out for 3 years now. So it would also be room temperature. I'm going to put this in the bag, and I'm going to start to mix it up. Try and get it dissolved. And what I'm noticing as I'm feeling this is the water's getting really warm. And especially as I'm kind of mixing this in here at the bottom of the bag, it's almost getting hot. All right, so there's a definite temperature change. So you go ahead and figure that out. Right now, are we experiencing a physical change or a chemical change? Knowing that it's getting a lot warmer than it was when we started. You might notice the color's starting to get a little bit lighter. That's just the calcium chloride dissolving. All right, that's not our indicator changing, saying we have an acid now. No, it's just the fact that calcium chloride is dissolving. All right, so that's dissolved, all set. Next step, what I'm going to go ahead and do, I have baking soda, and I'm going to go ahead and put the baking soda in here in a second. But I want us to remember and think back to when we put baking soda in our acid indicators. And you'll remember when we put baking soda in our acid indicators, the color didn't change. Okay, so if you put the baking soda in the phenol red stayed red. Okay, it didn't turn yellow because it only turns yellow in the presence of acids. Baking soda is not an acid. All right, so let's make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen when I put the baking soda in our phenol red? Let's see. Put down here, and I'm going to put the baking soda in, and then I'm going to seal the bag up. Okay, seal this guy up. And I'm seeing, wait a second, turned yellow. Can you hear this too? So it turned yellow. There's some fizzing. And what you might be able to notice on here is the bag is inflating. The bag is inflating. And it's getting pretty solid. I really hope it doesn't. Okay, so it looks like it's about to pop here. So I'm going to not let that happen. Now I'm going to just open the bag up. All right, because I really don't want this thing to explode on my computer. That would cause me some issues. All right, so what I hope you noticed was obviously it turned yellow, but baking soda is not an acid, so why did it turn yellow? Well, that should tell us we produced something new. Okay, something new was produced. There had to have been an acid that was produced to turn this guy yellow. That's exactly what happened. All right, we produced carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is actually an acid. It's acidic. The stuff you breathe out is acidic. Another thing you should have heard some crackling going on. Crackling, and then the bag was inflating. Those are two signs that a gas is being produced. And you can see under chemical changes, gas created is one of our indicators. And you might be able to see some bubbles there too, right? That's that carbon dioxide. Okay, that's that carbon dioxide that was formed. So yeah, I really like this. I like this one. I wish I didn't have to open the bag up. It would have been fun to let it explode, but I'm not trying to make a mess today. So, okay, so go ahead, answer the questions on Google Classroom, identify where the physical and chemical changes were in this one, and awesome. Thanks, guys.